These are the 10 best VR experiences that you need on the Meta Quest 3 and Quest 3S, as well as some big bonus ones at the end that you really don't want to miss. So let's dive right into it. And starting it off, we have Solara 1. Now in here, you can aboard your very own spaceship and visit all of the different planets and asteroids that you will come across on your journey. However, besides just exploring these new places, you can also start to fly around in zero gravity by using your rocket-powered arms. Or head over and chill out in one of its realistic recreated space stations, which are equipped with everything from a kitchen to even some bedrooms. But it is also the highly detailed graphics that look surprisingly crisp on the Quest headsets that make this overall a real treat for your eyes. But that gets us to number 2, known as Graphism, which is a full-on graffiti simulator. And that of course means that you can start to make your own art with one of its built-in spray cans and markers while you're inside one of the many locations, such as the local skate park or a train station. But you can also simply go into the garage, where you have the option to paint on an individual object instead. And on top of that, it also has a lot of avatar customization and cool ways for you to share and record your own creations. But moving on, we got number 3, which is Human Anatomy VR. And yes, as the name already implies, this is your typical educational VR application that will help you learn everything that you can imagine about your body, from your biggest muscles to your tiniest bones. And while there are also a lot of similar experiences out there on the Meta Quest store, most of them really don't live up to the same standard as this one. Although, with that also comes the only downside, that this one is quite expensive at a cost of $39 in total. But this is luckily not the case for the next app, which is completely free and is known as Photon. And in here, you will get access to a massive library of 180-degree immersive videos that are actually a lot higher quality compared to most of the other content that you find out there. And since it works exactly like your standard social media platforms, you can start scrolling through it by just simply swiping through your feed. Or you can also use the search function if you want to look up a specific video. And of course, you can also choose to share and upload your very own content to it. But by far the best part is that Photon has a 3D converter built in as well. And that means that if you upload a basic normal flat video, then you can choose to automatically turn it into 3D so that you can experience it again in a whole different way. So it is kind of surprising that this app doesn't cost anything. And on number 5, we got World Lens, all-in-one VR travel. Now this is probably best described as Google Earth 3D, but then with the possibility to move and fly through it from inside your headset. So that means that not only can you visit some of the most beautiful places in the entire world, you can even choose to see what they look like in the past, or start discovering the world with your friends in their multiplayer mode. Although, keep in mind that some of these add-on features are sadly locked behind a paywall. And at number 6 is Puzzling Places. Now this is the perfect VR experience if you just want to wind down after a long day of work. Since in here, you'll be completing some satisfying puzzles that just click and snap into place while simultaneously recreating some beautiful scenery. And while this is by far one of the older applications on this list, it still keeps on getting new updates that add a bunch of extra puzzles to it every now and then. And of course, I will also leave all the links to the applications and experiences in this video down in the description below, together with some big discounts. So make sure you don't miss out on that. But it gets us to number 7, and that is Cosmic XR. Now, unlike most other ones on this list, this one makes use of mixed reality instead. So that means that with it, you can turn your own living room into an interactive way to learn all about the galaxy and the universe. And that can go from checking out planets with your hands to seeing the rotational spin of our solar system and so much more. But before we get to the next 3 must-have VR experiences that you really don't want to miss, let's first have a quick word from the company that made this video possible. Because none other than Cat VR, who are known for creating VR treadmills that look like they come straight out of Ready Player One, are once again taking virtual reality to the next level. Because while we are normally limited by the boundary system inside our VR experiences, it is Cat VR that has created these VR treadmills that let you run and jump without any limitation. And since their most recent version, which is known as the C2 Plus Enhanced, is compatible with every VR headset that you can think of, it is also often considered as the dream upgrade for any VR user. And they even go so far that it has things like haptic feedback built into it, as well as a vehicle hub, which will make it feel even more realistic when you're racing on a track or flying through the sky. And as a cherry on top, you can also use the code VRelity for a whopping $130 off on your entire purchase. So for those who are interested, I'll leave a link in the description below. And that gets us to number 8, which is Ocean Rift. Now this is a pretty unique VR title that lets you dive into the big blue ocean with your very own hands, while also learning you about the wildlife that lives down there. And that means that while it starts off with seeing some cute sea turtles, you might also end up meeting the great white shark or even some of the biggest sea creatures in all of the world. But the nice thing here is the attention to detail, such as having full narration for the information that you get, as well as making use of intuitive gestures that you will need to dive deeper into the water. Although, there also used to be a mixed reality mode in here that could turn any of your rooms into a real-life aquarium. But after a big Quest software update, most users haven't been able to access this feature at all. So since this application doesn't receive regular bug fixes anymore, this MR mode might not come back for quite some time. But moving on. On number 9, we have Disney Plus. Now this, of course, will let you watch all of your favorite Disney shows on a massive screen in front of you. But while you could also choose to watch your series on Netflix directly from within your browser, this is sadly still limited to 1080p in quality. While Disney Plus, on the other hand, can go all the way up to 4K instead. Although do keep in mind though, that 3D movies are sadly not supported as of right now, which is actually not the case for some other headsets, such as the Apple Vision Pro. So hopefully Disney Plus will unlock this feature in one of its future updates. And it is also worth to mention that some other streaming services, such as Amazon Prime Video, also have their own dedicated application on the Quest Store. So no matter what streaming service you use, you will most likely be able to use them in some kind of way on your Quest 3. But before we get to number 10, we have 2 bonus-worthy mentions, with the first being Realms of Flow. And this is a special trip experience that makes use of both visuals and sounds to put you into a surreal kind of world. And while the feeling itself is quite hard to describe, you just need to try it out for yourself at least once to truly understand it. And bonus number 2 is Paint VR, which gives you your very own art studio. And with the nice extra is that just besides just your standard painting on a white canvas, you can also use a bunch of tools in here to make your creations come to life that just wouldn't be possible in real life. But maybe best of all is that if you also want to learn how to paint, then you can even watch some tutorials at the same time to help you out. Or if you're like me and you don't have the best artistic skills at all, then there are also some alternative options such as paint by number or even some easy prints to fill in, just like a coloring book. And I'm honestly still surprised by how realistic the canvas and paint look while being inside VR, making it sometimes easy to forget that it isn't the real thing. However, some of the cooler tools and backgrounds do come as a paid add-on, so keep that in mind. But that gets us to number 10, which is none other than Virtual Desktop. And this is pretty much the must-have application for any Quest user. Because with it, you can unlock the option to use your own computer screen directly inside VR. And that means that you can turn this virtual place into your own workstation or even a huge cinema if that is what you want. But by far the best part is that this also makes it possible for you to play PC VR games wirelessly without any connection issues like you have with that standard Meta Airlink. However, that is not all. Because to know how to play these PC VR games on your Quest headset properly and in the best quality possible, you want to click on the video that you see on screen right now to make sure you don't miss out on that. And of course, stay awesome.